Hello, welcome to Grant Writing 101, Video 1 of 5, Understanding the Grant Context. My name is Jeffrey Tan, and I'm a theatre director, drama educator, and creative producer who is based in Singapore. My experience with grant writing started when I was a young theatre maker who wanted to study overseas in the mid-90s. So I applied for and received an NAC Arts Bursary overseas for my undergraduate studies in Brisbane, Australia. Then in 2001, I applied for an NAC travel grant to attend the 4th International Drama Education Association's World Congress in Bergen, Norway. Subsequently, I tried to stay connected with the international educational theatre scene by tapping on the NAC Travel Grant, which eventually got transformed into the NAC Capability Development Grant. I would try and apply for the CD grant annually, and am privileged that it has allowed me to see a large portion of the world. The NAC Art Scholarship even took me to the University of Warwick in 2006 to do my MA. My experience with grants is not limited to the National Arts Council. I've also applied for grants under the British Council, Melbourne's Next Wave Festival for a 2-week residency, and the International Teaching Artists Collaborative Project Grant, and the Singapore International Foundation. So with great confidence, I can tell you this: no two grants are the same. Grant Writing 101 is a series of 5 bite-sized videos commissioned by the National Arts Council and developed by the Singapore Drama Educators Association. I wrote the scripts based on my experience with grants, and I will be your guide in the videos. These 5 videos are to help independent artists or collectives apply for grants or residencies both locally and internationally. Here are some basic principles of grant proposals that you will need as a foundation to realize your artistic ambition. The 5 key steps to successful grant writing are: 1. Understanding the grant context. 2. Managing the grant timeline. 3. Preparing your CV, biography, and references. 4. Writing the budget and grant application. 5. Reporting the successful grant project. You would have noticed that, I've been using the continuous tense for the verbs because grant proposals are indeed a continuous process of understanding, managing, preparing, writing, and reporting. So be sure to check out all 5 videos. You must approach any grant application with a mindset for success. Always ask yourself, will this grant proposal be successful? Why will it be successful? Will you award yourself this grant if you were on the grant panel? Do justice for your own project by giving detailed and accurate information about the project. Wishy-washy proposals and inflated budgets demonstrate the lack of project management experience of the applicant. Unrealistic outcomes will turn into actual problems of grant recovery if the outcome is tied to the funding. This will also have negative impact on the grantee's track record. So be realistic with your proposal, budget, and outcomes. Grants are competitive, so good luck. In this first video, we'll focus on understanding the grant context. In this section, there are several components of understanding the grant context: the grant objectives, the grant outcomes, the grant assessment criteria, and the key performance indicators. Understanding the grant. Understanding is everything. Understanding takes time. You must first understand the grant. Before you embark on any grant application, be sure to read and then reread the grant description, eligibility, requirements, and timeline. Ask yourself, Is this grant suitable for my project? Don't change your project for the sake of getting a grant, but rather look for a grant that's best suited to your project idea. Do I want to take time to think of an idea to pitch for this grant? Be honest about why you are applying for this grant. I hope you are aware that most grants do not cover 100% of your cost. Some grants are on a reimbursement basis, and that means after the project, you'll need to submit proof of appropriate receipts. Therefore, how will you fund the shortfall from the grant? Will you need another grant from another grant body? Does the grant allow you to take grants from multiple organizations? It is good to be clear about which grants pay for which parts of the project. Generally, there are two types of grants. A. Expression of interest, or EOI. This includes residencies, fellowships, and pitching. Residencies range from a week to a year. Fellowships include some travel, networking, or mentorship. Pitches are usually at performing arts markets to pitch for either the touring of a finished product or the collaboration of a new work. Some residencies only offer free venues. Some require you to pay for the space at a discounted rate. Some provide a small stipend, while some only provide airfare. So you have to make sure you read the fine print. Make sure you are aware of the deliverables. The second type of funding are funding grants. Funding grants are available in a wide range. They can be artist-centric, project-centric, or community-centric. So you need to understand which type of grant best applies to your project. Will your project appeal to the National Arts Council, the National Heritage Board, our Singapore Fund, or the Totalizator Board? Ask yourself, is this the right grant for your artistic ambition? What is important to you in the next 6 months? Is it training or research or the creation of a new work? Or is it just networking? What and how do you want to develop professionally next year? What do you see yourself doing in the next 3 years? After you've decided on the appropriate grant for your artistic project, dive deeper into the grant's objective to see if there's a match between what you want to do and what the grant is aiming to achieve. Understanding the grant objectives. Ask yourself, why was the grant introduced? What objectives is the funder trying to meet? Do the grant objectives match your art project's objectives? Research for understanding. Ensure that you have a clear understanding of the grant organization that is offering the grant. Take a look at their website and annual reports is a good start. Understand the grant organization's vision, mission, and strategic plans. Do some research on the aims of the organization. Who are the past grantees? Find alignment between your project and the grant. If there's no match between the grant and your art project's objective, look for other grants. If there is a good match, proceed to look at the grant outcomes. Will your project be able to produce what the grant's outcome requires? Understanding the grant outcomes. It is important to bear in mind what the funder wants to see after providing the grant. Are they more interested in the process or the product? Is the process about bringing people together, how the ideas develop, or the process of collaboration? Or is this the outcome type of grant where they're looking for an exhibition, performance, a video, or all of the above? Identifying what the funder requires of you is key in aligning your project to the grant requirements. Understanding the grant's assessment criteria. What is the grant's assessment criteria? An example of an assessment criteria could be 40% on artistic strength, Is the concept well thought through and planned? Is the project original, innovative, and creative? Another 40% could be on public engagement. Does the project engage your target audience and community? The last 20% could be on capability and commitment to execute the project. Does the applicant have a clear and sound plan to execute the project in terms of resources, partners? Does the applicant have the necessary experience to execute the project in terms of artistic expertise, production, project management, marketing, distribution? Specific to this assessment criteria, it is important that your grant proposal inspires with a well thought through, original, innovative, and creative idea that promotes new Singapore work. The proposal must demonstrate how your work engages the audience community to reach new audiences and generate greater awareness and appreciation for the art form. The artistic creation process also involves members of the public. Finally, you must give assurance to the grant panel that you and your team are capable and committed to executing the project with relevant experience and skills in a timely manner. Understanding the grant's key performance indicators. Every grant application has key performance indicators. Some grants require both a mid-project report and an end-of-grant report. Take a look at the evaluation report that is required of you. What kind of information do you need to provide? They might ask you for the number of performances, the number of exhibition days. What was the total attendance? What was the number of tickets sold? What percentage house? Number of new works created? Number of volunteers engaged? Catalogs for exhibition? Number of copies produced? Number of copies sold? For community participation projects, what is the number of activities? What was the total attendance? What was the total number of participants? They might also look at qualitative KPIs. What was the experience of the participants, audience, press coverage, social media reports? Anything that can affect your grant application. How will you capture all these data and evidence? Do you have the relevant pictures, videos, surveys? Finally, don't be a frog in the well. Look out and seek because you might just find. Look beyond the familiar few for other sources of funding. There are many other grants opportunities, such as the Arts Resource Hub, Producers.sg, Arts Equator, ArtsCom, embassies, foundations. It's always good to be in the loop with your social media. As you can see, understanding the grant context takes time. Only when you've thoroughly researched can understanding begin to happen. Successful grant applications are a demonstration of your understanding of the grants and presenting all the relevant information to meet the grant's objectives, outcomes, assessment criteria, and key performance indicators. If you're still unclear about the grant, email or call the funder to clarify only after reading and understanding the grant guidelines. Grants are competitive, so if you're not successful, don't give up. Try and try again. Congratulations for staying till the end of this video. Remember, successful grant writing takes time. You need to demonstrate understanding of the grant context, managing the grant timeline, preparing the CV, biography and references, writing the budget and grant application, and reporting the successful grant project. See you at video 2, where you'll learn about managing the grant timeline. Bye!